Hello, hello. Happy Thirsty Thursday. I'm super excited because today I have a very special guest. I have the lovely Kelly Pierce, who is a business or executive leadership coach. Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. I have it typed up, so there you go. It's gonna show and scroll on the bottom, so you know
There we go.
exactly what she does. So for those who don't know who I am Tiara, aka T, your wine diva. I rep for an amazing Napa Valley winery. I help people find wines that they're going to love and enjoy, especially during this holiday season. I can help you do pairings and all that fun stuff. I am also an actor, entertainer, and I am a guru to be and business coach within the Speaks Easy enterprise. So much fun stuff going on. And now, Kelly, I would love it if you could introduce yourself and say a little bit about you and what you do.
Sure. So I am Kelly. I am also a guru to be in the Speakeasy Enterprise, and I am a business coach, an executive business coach with soul. And what that means is I can help with life coaching and business coaching needs. Many people know me from the apprenticeship calls that we recently got done doing, as we are near graduates from the school with Virginia Shower through her beautiful Sovereign School. It's wonderful, wonderful. I've been executive mentoring people for about 9 years now in the realm and doing life coaching for 2 years. So I'm really confident in my skills as far as practical application, but now I'm certified. So watch out, baby.
That's amazing, amazing. So, what made you want to go become certified since you've been doing this for 9 years?
There's a lot of, I guess you would say, cattiness in the field of coaching. And when you go out there and you see all these ICF coaches and they're all like, oh, you're not certified and da 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 da. And they're just so snooty. And it's just like, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. And I'm not that kind of a coach at all. And I don't look at anyone for any reason and say you're not good enough, right? Because I think inside of all of us as a coach, we all know inherently what is best for us. But no certificates required. But I just don't. I got tired of feeling that feeling. So now I can say, I'm dual certified. So be quiet.
Yes, I
Down.
love it. Oh my gosh. So what guided you on this path to become a coach? And I'm gonna take a second to invite anyone that has questions. Please feel free to drop it in the box below. We'd love to engage with you as we go along with this live video. So definitely say hey and tell us where you're tuning in from. And if you're drinking anything fun, I love hearing that. I've got myself some red wine. It looks like Kelly does too.
Yes, and my beautiful glass my boyfriend got me. It says it's not really drinking alone if the cat is home. So
Yeah, I love it. So cheers to that.
cheers.
Perfect.
So what got me started down the path? Well, I mentioned I'd been mentoring men and women in the executive realm for 9 years. That's going on a decade. And it was really what lit me up, right? Is leading people to greatness. I was leading teams of about 200 people. So all over the country. And at one point in time, I had over 1,000 people that I was leading at once. And it just gives me so much pleasure to lead people to the greatness that I know they have within them. And it was just feels so natural. And you know, and what I did, I loved it. And so when I got away from the corporate atmosphere, and just went into one-to-one life coaching. Sure, I was changing lives. Sure, it was fulfilling. It was really great, but it wasn't enough.
Mhm.
I need to go back to my roots, if you will, back to that corporate woman inside of me who knows, how to
Right.
impact on an organizational level and just bring it out of them and just let them see that there's more to it than ROIs and spreadsheets and meeting the bottom line and blah 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 blah. It's really about developing the whole person and the whole team. Yeah.
I love that. So when someone starts coaching with you, kind of where do you what do you start focusing on? How do you start like that conversation?
Right. So each person is a unique individual.
Oh, yes.
Some people are just like what I like to call soulpreneurs, like SOLE. They're just it's themselves and them business. They're just starting
Hmm.
out and they have a big vision and they're not sure where to get there. So with those folks, we do a lot of the personal development and the how to's, right? Because the how to's will get you every time when you're starting your own thing. Like, how do I do an S corp or a LLC or get an EIN number, and what laws do I need to? Do I need a lawyer for this contract? And da 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 da. Well, I did all the contract stuff. I did all the laws. My sister's a paralegal. I know all the stuff, right? So I can kind of guide them down that path. Now, granted, I'm not an attorney, so I will tell them when they need to go into that realm. One of my, aw, Rolga, you're so sweet. I will tell them, one of my clients is an executive producer, and it's like, okay, I am not able to help you, with this, the copyright laws and all the things with films, because that's, Tiara, you're an actor,
Yeah.
there's a lot of legal stuff in those documents, right?
Hmm.
I can't read and interpret that sort of law, but I can give you a guy who will help you. I will give you a broker who can help you broker the deal for your film. But let's get first your mindset right so you can put all these tools in place.
Yeah, and mindset, I mean, it's everything. I think doesn't matter what you're doing, whatever you're going for. I feel like I literally was talking to my dad about this the other day. He doesn't understand, or he's not into that like law of attraction kind of space. So I'm like,
Mhm.
every time we talk, I'm like, but dad, like you're telling yourself you're old. You're not old. You like you can do all of these things. It's really your mindset. Like he doesn't. But
Yeah.
and it comes into play with business. If you think you're going to fail, you're going to fail. But if you think you can succeed, it's not going to happen like overnight magically. But like if you really have that mindset of like daring to dream and daring to fail and daring to learn and get back up again, you are going to do great things.
Yeah. I mean, as you're talking so many different things, I mean, Henry Ford, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't.
Hmm.
Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Don't be afraid to do it, because the second you let fear, we all have fear, you know,
Hmm.
even I have fear, and I will look at my fear and I'll say, is this valid, or is this just something I haven't done before? And what can I do to help myself? Do I need to gather information? Do I need to reach out to an expert? Do I need to look back at all the past times that I've succeeded? How can I get past my fear? And I
Right.
coach myself. I mean, as a coach, you know that we coach ourselves on a daily basis. Like, what is it that I need to move past whatever obstacle is in my way? And, when I was in the corporate realm, I would do that regularly. Like, what are my obstacles? Is it political? I mean, I had to deal with all kinds of political agencies,
Hmm.
literally politics, and I had office politics, and just all the things, like, how do we get over these potential stumbling blocks, because that's all it is. It's all up here when you're running your own business.
Hmm. So I feel like a lot of times in the corporate realm, people are kind of standoffish to really connecting to soul, and feel like it might be a little bit woo woo. So how do you approach that in the corporate field?
Hmm. Good question. So really, getting into a lot of the language, that can be a big barrier. I mean, the second they hear, meditation and connecting to self, it can send some people like, all right, see you later, I got a board meeting to run. But
Right.
if you can connect with them on the level of, listen, getting in touch with, when you're at home and you're, the dad or the mom, and you're in charge of your kids, are you tuned into the joy of that moment, or are you scatterbrained and going left and right? And what type of a parent do you want to be? Do you want to be present? Because this is how we teach you how to be present. And if you can't sit quietly and connect with your breath for 3 minutes, then that's pretty indicative of an inability to connect and be present with your children or the reports that you're trying to look at. And so we kind of dig deep into what their pain points are, like how they might have challenges and struggles with either mindfulness or whatever that might look like for them. Other ways is being grounded. Like when we stand on our feet and we run a meeting, if we don't take command of our authority in that meeting, then we're going to have kids, kids to us looking at their phones and playing games and checking email and not respecting the speaker. That's You have to be grounded and centered in your authority, knowing who you are. And part of that is getting down deep into the soul stuff. If you don't know who you are, how's anybody else going to respect you and know you? So you've
Hmm.
got to get up there with authority and digging deep and doing some of the work. It's part of that.
Yes. And I love how you phrased it as a question, not just like straight up telling them like you need to learn how to be present in moments, but how do you want to feel? How do you want to be in a particular moment from moment to moment with your kids? And I think that's something that people don't necessarily connect. It's like I'm at work here and then like my family life is here, and it kind of totally balances out with the challenge that we're actually working on within the Social Soul Tribe in the Speaksy community is that this hashtag balance challenge. Those of us that are participating, drop it in the comments first, please. But the hashtag balance challenge, it's a beautiful thing of, all right, we can balance having a family as well as having a business, and it can all be interconnected. I went live yesterday about just like including your family in what it is that you're doing. And so they can feel like they have a piece of your business, and it's so much easier and so much more soulful and fulfilling when it's like rather than you have to pick one or the other, they're all just like intertwined. And I think that's like so fun and beautiful.
It is. And it's so important, when we get so sucked into this is what I have going on, and I've got so many presentations to do and cash flows to do and all the things, right? And it's all due, and I've got meetings that run until 7 o'clock at night on a Friday, and I still have more to do because it's due on Monday and I'm coming in on Saturday. I mean, it destroyed my second marriage. I will tell you that. This is like truth bomb, vulnerable moment. My second marriage was gone, okay? Because I was building my career.
Yeah.
And I thought I was doing the right things because I was passionate about my career. I loved what I did. I was sitting at the table with fat cats, man, and I
Yeah.
was I was all over the place, and I was like, I walk on site and everybody's, respecting me, and I'm in charge of these people's safety, in charge of these people's paychecks, in charge of the success, the outcome of the restaurant or the nightclub or the casino or the, high rise, whatever it is. But I didn't involve my family. What is the term with the phone, the fubbing? I fubbed them, and it sucked. And I could feel it happening. And I would try to not, but then it'd be like, boom, 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 email, and it's like, oh
Right.
crap, I got to get this, and otherwise it'd be out of control by Monday. So it stinks, I get it. I've been there. It's a balance.
The balance is you can have balance. I think people think that you can't, and I think it's very
Mhm.
possible. It's just kind of it's a skill. I think everything really is a skill. People say that you can't learn to sing, you can't you can't learn to go live, whatever. You can totally learn all of these things. Confidence is totally a skill. You can teach yourself to do all of these things. It's some people might have this naturally tapped in and tuned into it. But if you really want it, you can have it. You can make it
Mhm.
happen.
So you're giving me hope, Tiara. You're telling me I could sing?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think some people have more of a natural talent than others, but like if you have like the right coach and you learn like we talk about breathing in terms of meditation and our like clearing our mind and getting really connected to soul. Well, really the same thing comes when you sing. Like it's really all in your diaphragm, it's all in your breath support. And so really like if you can control your breath, you can control your voice.
Nice. I love it. We're going to talk after this live. Because I was
Yeah,
singing the other day and I got
it's
some
inside
really
job.
strange looks.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, who are your favorite people to work with?
Oh my gosh, my favorite people. So I have a client, and I told her the other day, I said, I love that you're so coachable.
Mhm.
So it's people who are willing to do the work. They're
Yes.
not the ones who say, I can't. They're the ones who say, I don't know, but I'll try.
Hmm.
They're the ones who say, well, that sounds interesting. Maybe they're skeptical at first, but they're going to try it.
Hmm.
And so they have that willingness and that openness to be able to try it. And the passion and the spark and the love for their people and the love for themselves. Maybe they don't know it. Maybe they've kind of lost it or buried it underneath some spreadsheets or something,
Hmm.
but it's there. And they know they want to get back to that. So those are the types of people I like to work with.
Ooh, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, how does someone know that they need a coach?
Okay. So when you're cruising along and you're just work, 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 and then you forgot to pick up your kid from practice, and you know that you should be cooking and you feel guilty about it, and you don't feel connected to your partner anymore, and they're complaining, and then your employees start complaining, and you're just constantly running, putting out fire after fire after fire, and then you're like, but what about me?
Hmm.
I'm not happy either. And you're at that point where you don't know what to do next because nobody's happy and you're not happy. And that's the moment when you're like, let's bring in some professional help here. You don't need a therapist. You're mentally, capable. You've got all the acuity in the world. Your cognitive abilities are firing 1,000%. You're up at night worrying about how to solve all these damn problems.
Hmm.
Get a coach who can come in and give you some outside perspective and help to see maybe some patterns that you haven't been able to notice yourself and give you some strategies and really formulate a game plan because that's what it's all about. I mean, baseball analogy that I gave the other day on a live was like it just came a gift from above, like the first baseman is standing there wanting to know if he should steal second. He's not able to see the pitcher's arm. He's looking at the third base coach, and the third base coach is talking to the first base coach. And then there's a guy in the dugout who's also so it's all teamwork. When you hire a
Oh yeah.
coach, your life fires on all cylinders. It's amazing.
I love it. I love that you use the word happy. And I feel like that's something that I'm really kind of focusing on in like my own life, but also kind of trying to inspire others of, like financial success is all well and good and all these things, but really happiness should be the measure of like anything and everything. When you can tune into yourself and you can look inside and say like, am I happy? Am I truly happy in what's going on in my life? And when you can say yes to that, you are living your best life, really. And it doesn't, and I think so many people think that happiness comes from, traveling and doing all these other things. And like, I know that's something that I enjoy doing and other people do too. But like, really, happiness is self defined. So, like, what you do or what you think is like great might not be what the next person is. And I think that also ties into like abundance because we don't all want to be, I don't know, Oprah Winfrey. But like,
Yeah.
what makes people happy what makes you happy is a beautiful thing.
Right. And that's getting back to what we began with, getting in touch with your soul and knowing who you are. And a lot of people are scared to know that. And
Mhm.
deep down, everyone, everyone is inherently good. I don't care if you think you're bad. I don't care if you've done bad in your past. You are a good and perfect soul. There is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong. So that's part of a coach's job too, is to dig deep and help you believe
Mhm.
that and to understand like, hey, this isn't about, morality or judgment or anything else. I mean, I've had plenty of clients who have come to me with problems, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they come with problems. People have I have problems, Everybody got problems. But we we are problem solvers and we flip it to where those are just trivial little happenstance
Mhm.
things, and we go for the joy, for the sustainable things in life that bring us joy, and we get rid of the junk that it doesn't bring us joy. And I just wrote an article the other day on LinkedIn, like, we're not Marie Kondoing our life, but we are stripping away those things that we don't want to do, like just because we have to. Like, yeah, I ate broccoli for years because I thought it was good for me, but I don't like broccoli. I just
Oh,
don't
it
like
doesn't
it.
bring me joy. Bye. I
No.
definitely want to be to a place where someone like my name becomes a verb. Marie
Yeah.
Kondo, my life. Oh my gosh, I say it all
Right?
the time now. But you brought up LinkedIn, and I think it's so. I feel like I talk a lot about Facebook. I talk a lot about Instagram, Twitter a little bit, and YouTube a little bit. But I'm very interested in the LinkedIn space since I know
Mhm.
you work with a lot of executives. So I believe that's probably your home to find
Yep.
like future clients. So how do you connect and network in that space without being spammy or like really kind of um, really presenting yourself in a way that's professional and kind of brings you in more clientele.
hmm So, good question. LinkedIn is full of people who are spammy. I'm not gonna lie. You go on
Yes.
LinkedIn, and people are just gonna inbox you. Buy my stuff, and do my thing. And don't you want this? And I see you're a coach. Do you want a lead generator? And it's like, whoa, slow down,
Yep. I think I've
breathe.
been asked to sell insurance I don't know how many times on LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh, you'd be amazing at it. I mean, haven't you signed up yet? No, just kidding. No thanks, right?
Right.
Me neither. um, because there are so many people who do that on there. If you do take the principles of what we have learned from building relationships and being authentic and law of attraction and like, know, and trust and putting yourself, giving that value, 70% of the time, and then the calls to action 30, and it's the soft sales. It's not going after and being aggressive. You will attract the people that you want. You will have the people naturally coming to you and saying, hey, I really like what you've got going on. And I know you can help me because you've already helped me. I've already
Right.
watched a
Right.
couple of your videos and taken a couple of your documents, and your article's amazing. So let's look at your stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's super
Yeah.
easy. And I really think it's just remembering like the context of whatever platform you're on, but
hmm
just like little tweaks. I feel like, you can take a live video, edit down to like maybe 5 minutes of some like
hmm
really good stuff that would apply to the professional realm and throw it up on LinkedIn. And then you can do
hmm
the same thing with like IGTV, YouTube. You can take one piece of content and make it like 97 different pieces, okay, that was a really cool quote. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like I said something earlier and I'm like, oh, that would be amazing. If I had a notebook, I'd write that down because that would have been a phenomenal tweet. Like these little
Yeah,
things. So just like making
exactly.
micro out of the macro and just formulating it to fit the context of wherever you are in that point in time.
Yes. And once you've established yourself as a brand and you understand who you serve,
Hmm.
what you offer, and how you want to do it, you're really clear on all those things, you can go after it in all the places and
Oh
just
yeah.
make those little tweaks.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So you said who you serve, and I think that's something that people really get caught up on. So how do you help your clients kind of figure out who is my avatar, who's my ideal person? Like, because when you try to talk to everybody, you talk to nobody, as they say. So like, how do you help them kind of figure out who am I supposed to be talking to right now?
Mhm. So, when it depends on the type of business they have,
Hmm.
first of all. If they're an enterprise, they already have established clientele, and we look at their trends. If they're just starting out and they have maybe 10 or 15 clients that they're serving their service industry, I say look at your 10 or 15 clients, and what do those people have in common that you love? Is there something about them that really sparks your passion, and really, maybe you inadvertently attracted them because of something that you like, or something about you that you have in common? Looking at your own interests and things that you enjoy doing and going after it. So really looking at those things that qualities that people have, interests that people have, hobbies that people have, that are in line with who you are as a business owner, because that's who you're speaking to. That's who you know and understand and would probably like to surround yourself with.
Hmm.
If you go too far off the opposite side of who you are, you're going to have to do a lot more research and a lot more work to speak their language. Coming up with copy, you're going to do a lot more sales calls. You're going to do a lot more, research in the different groups, and they're going to smell you a mile away that you're just in there sneaking out, looking for their information, and they're going to boot you out of the group because next thing you know, they
Right?
look at your Facebook page and you don't have anything to do with skateboards or sharks or whatever it is. It's like, creeper. So
Hashtag don't be a creeper.
yeah, be you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Authenticity is like so, so, so huge. And I find that the more I talk to people and the more that they really delve into who they truly are, and like they get vulnerable. I don't know if you've like read Brene Brown or like
Oh
watched her,
yeah,
like,
love
oh my gosh,
her.
like she's so big on vulnerability. And I think it's
Hmm.
amazing how much once you start kind of letting go and really just showing up as whomever you are with, like, whether you have makeup on, whatever, and just being like real, the kids are screaming in the background or whatever's going on, that's when people are like, oh my gosh, like I get you. Your life is my life, and we need to talk and we need to connect. and
Yeah.
and that's kind of how you build your following, you build your clientele, and they're going to be people that are like your people, and they become lifers because like you're into the same things and you can talk about the same things, and you can really like have a good conversation, because conversation, I believe conversation leads to connections, which leads to cash flow. Like I like the C words. So there we
Yes, absolutely. You're totally right. I mean, right now I have my little kitten who I call him my little terrorist because whenever I'm doing something with a client that's really like deep intense work,
go. Mhm.
he goes in the bathroom and he knocks something over and it sounds loud. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And then it gets quiet. And like anybody with kids knows that when it gets quiet, that's when the trouble happens.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh my
But
god.
people who can relate to that, they're like, "Oh, I get it. I know my dog or my cat or whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, he's just a terrorist." He's like,
Like my what I call her my biz bestie. So like we both work partnered together for basic wino and like our stuff. So she has a 3-year-old and I want to say she's like almost 2 months now. Like she's a
"Oh,
baby.
yeah, yeah."
And she calls her 3-year-old a little terrorist because literally, like, he doesn't bot touch her. That like I'll be over and we're like hanging out, and he's like watching PJ Maxx and was like totally chill. And the second we go live, the second like we're trying to like actually do some work, brah! Or he's like stripped all his clothes off and naked and like peeing everywhere, and you're like, what just happened?
The destroyer. Yeah.
Destroyed. But it's so funny because it's just like something just like magically snaps in their brains, and but it's
I know.
relatable, and it's just like he's at it again. You guys know this is what happens when we go live. Like
Yeah, I have a
he'll never
10-inch
talk to us
tall
for like
terrorist. Like, he just walks, and he even gets his little swagger, like, when it's happening too. He looks at me like, I see you. I see you on camera over there."
you
What?
can't do anything to me right now.
Yeah.
That's exactly what his face looks
The squirt bottle's downstairs. I'm safe.
like. Exactly. They just know.
Terrible.
It's just like intuitive.
Yep.
And
Yep. They sense that professional energy that
yeah.
everyone tries to have.
There you
Oh
go.
my
You can go
gosh.
live
But
at
yeah.
any time. That's like always my thing. Like whatever. Doesn't
Yep.
matter.
Just be as authentic as you possibly can be, and you will get those people who know you, who, you know, either and you might have some haters. You might have some
Mhm.
people who come on and are like, "Why are you going live with your baby?" Blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Those aren't your people.
Right.
Let it go.
And like they can totally circle back. Like I listen to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he drops f bomb after f bomb after f bomb. And I don't know what it is. Like I totally curse in real life. Like it's like totally a thing. But something in my brain, it just turns it off, and like I can't authentically like let myself rip on a live video. I don't know what filter it just magically turns on. But like I listen to it and I love what he does. And I love like Peter Kelly. I'm listening to Earth is Hiring right now. And she just like F bomb after F bomb. And I'm like, yes, these are my people. And Peter talks about like, you know, like if I stopped censoring myself and I got like the right people, like who my people are. And sometimes they'll like circle back. They're like, you know what? I didn't like you because you cursed, did whatever. And, but then, you know, like I read this thing or I saw this thing and you were in it and it was amazing. And so like, I'm just going to get over the fact that you're not as professional as I thought you should be because
Yeah.
you're a human being and humans are
Right.
flawed and we love, but I love what you have to offer, you know?
Yeah, I go through trends in my life where I swear or I don't swear. And when I was in design and construction for all those years, I had to. It was a job requirement to swear
Oh
on
yeah.
site. You have to drop the F bomb to get their respect.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
otherwise you're too uppity.
I totally get it. You got to meet people where they are, I think. And
Yes.
I mean, I've worked a lot in sales from like, you know, talking to different people and like storefronts, like trying to sell wine into, it's different from my business aspect, but like trying to sell wine into different stores. And there's like some people who are like, this is just my job and whatever, I could care less about wine or liquor. But if you like, you know, we can like talk about something and it's like, oh, you like anime, boo, I got you. Like, oh, you like
Yeah.
like really finding ways to connect and create those conversations, and next thing you know they're like, oh, do you want to display? Like, yeah, sure, whatever, it's cool.
hmm
It's cool,
Yeah,
but you
exactly. Meeting them on all levels and being able to not be so prude and
Mhm.
not be just lose the judgment, really. Just
Oh,
lose
yeah.
the judgment, whether they use words that you can't understand, or speak another language or whatever. I mean, we all have a smile available to us, right? That is the universal language of
Mhm.
love. And so being kind, being respectful, being genuine, it shines through no matter what you have in your life. So,
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. All right, so we're like nearing the 30-minute mark or a little bit past it.
Yeah.
Is there anything that else that you really you're on fire about that you would love to share with our audience today?
Mm, Gosh, you know, I really want to talk about intuition in the workplace,
Mhm.
and forcing things in the workplace, okay?
Ooh.
Because I know that, like, when we're grinding away at our corporate jobs, like, no matter what job you have, whether you're like a secretary or a project manager or a design director or cutting, $1 million deals, whatever you're doing, okay? If it's not working, if it is hard, if the person won't call you back after 4 phone calls and
Mhm.
your car breaks down on the way to the thing and stuff is just happening that just like Murphy's law kind of stuff,
Yeah.
let that shit go.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a swear word for you. We're just talking about swear words. Let it go.
Yeah.
Because stop trying to force it. When I was making those $1 million deals, and there would be guys that would be like, I really want this. And I'd say, you know what? You don't want this. It's going to be a nightmare job.
Mhm.
You don't want it. You're forcing it too hard. There's something about it that's going to go wrong. You're going to lose money. I don't know what it is. I just sense it. I know it. I was like a ninja, right? My intuition is very strong. The force is strong with this one. I know these things, right? And so they would be like, "What?" And I'd be like, "Just let it go, man. Just walk away." And they would get it. I mean, it wasn't that simple of a conversation. I would walk them through what I was seeing, and I'd say, "I just foresee this to be a bad deal for you." Right? This person can maybe take on more risk, or you have it too tight here, or whatever is happening. Just let it go. Sure enough, every single darn time, the job would be a nightmare job. They would have lost money. And, I'd tell them, 8 months, a year, 2 years down the line, hey, guess what? You would have been totally screwed hairs and you got a bigger, better job anyways. Aren't you happy? And they'd be like, you're right. You're always looking out for us, Kelly. And I'm like, I know. Like, I'm not just, one-sided, working for the owner. I'm trying to do for the good of the industry because I never wanted to shut anybody's doors down. I wanted everybody, I knew that there's abundance, right? There's enough for everybody to go around, and it had to be the right fit. So even if you're doing, not doing jobs of that nature, no matter what it is, don't force it. Just allow it to be easeful. If I was calling and emailing and writing and doing all this stuff and nothing was working, I would get up and walk around the building 10 times. Let it go. Change the energy, move it up, go to lunch, just come back
Yes,
in a little
level
while.
up,
It just wasn't meant.
up level.
Yeah, exactly. Just naturally doing it. And it just will always happen more easily.
I think that I mean, bringing it to like a direct sales standpoint, it's the same idea with like looking for people. Like if you are like party planning, you're looking for people like hosts to book a party, or you're trying to recruit somebody onto your team, or trying to make sales or whatever it is. It's the same idea of like, oh, I've hit this person up, I followed up with them like 87 times and they still won't do it. Like, let it go. They're not your person. Move
Yeah.
on. Let it go.
Yep.
Like,
There's five more people you could have called,
yeah, like
Yeah.
you're focusing on this one person, this one like thing, when the universe is like, yo, there's like 87 people over here that you totally need to be talking to, and they're pushing them in your face, but you're like, oh, I want this so badly. Let it go. Let it go. Move on.
Yep. And once you do, you'll see it just shift. And then, oh, life will be so much easier. Like the
Uh,
weight of the world gets lifted.
as Abraham Hicks says, it's like find the better feeling path, find the easier path, and like just release that resistance.
Yeah. Yeah. And it works in any industry, any job title, any path. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Leonie. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Awesome. All right. So if people want to learn more about what it is that you do, connect with you, maybe like any of your programs, get coaching from you, where can they find you?
So I have a couple places that I hang out. I have my website is quantumhighways.com, and you can find me on Instagram at quantumhwys.
All right. All right. I might not know how to spell quantum right.
No, you got it right.
Yay!
Got it right. Yep.
There's these moments of like, all right, I'm typing something on the fly and I'm like, crap, did I spell that right?
And you can email me there too if you have any questions, because there's various packages. I have, like I say, things for the solopreneurs, the executives with the enterprise type of businesses, and then I do individual life coaching as well. So something
Love it.
for all of the soulful people out there.
Thank you so much for your time today, Kelly. Is there anything else that you would like to leave with us before we hop off?
Just thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. You are just such a treat.
Oh, I appreciate you. Much love. Definitely, like if you guys are into learning a little bit more about balance, the like going live, join us in the hashtag. Oh my gosh, hashtag balance challenge. I'm losing my mind. Make sure you like hop into the Soulful Soul Tribe. That's where Kelly and I met. It's an amazing community of soulful entrepreneurs. We have the Speaksy app. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to like check that out. That's a great place to like get some meditations, learn a little bit more about like tapping into your soul, finding abundance, law of attraction, and there's some amazing business coaching stuff in there too. So come hang out, party with us. Love you so much. I really appreciate your time and you just hanging out with us. So like, thanks so much. Love you lots.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.